teach our young people to live a life of debt, student debt, and then to go and rent a scabby flat for the rest of their lives and work in unpaid internships. And this is the worst tragedy of all, I say, because all of these problems can be solved by young people.
The metaphor that I've been using to describe the workshop is that of a pop-up design studio that's just appeared in the heart of Mother.
Nervous.
Looking for innovation, looking for the unknown.
Intrigued.
We're looking to push you out of your comfort zone.
Interested.
So you can learn something. And it's not always going to be fun.
Fear.
Next station is Shoreditch High Street.
When I got the job of Professor of Interactive Digital Arts at UAL, when I was offered it, one of the things I said was I want to run a workshop and I want to take students from across all the colleges and across disciplines and put them into industry settings and simulate what it would be like to run their own design studio. They're 20 students chosen from a range of courses across UAL. The typical art school experience is that you work as a loner. You're a lone wolf. You're an artist, you're a designer, but you're an individual and you work in a specific practice or discipline.
When I work alone, I just go at home and do the things that I like, play records or whatever, the things that just makes me feel comfortable, and then I start thinking about it.
That's not how things work in the creative industries. Once you leave arts education, you have to collaborate. You have to work in a team of people with a whole range of skills, and you have to learn to give feedback and get feedback. In the real world of working in the creative industries, there is much less time, much tighter deadlines than you get in academia and education. I have not chosen these students. I've got no idea who they're going to be. They've been selected as the best of UAL students across this particular area. It's a real moment for me when I meet them for the first time and go, okay.
It's going to be really interesting to get different opinions from different fields on your ideas.
Yeah.
When I work in a group, I try to get to know people and get talking, get the talking going.
One of the things I'm sure that we will all have looked for were the confident, probably the leaders in the student groups that we work with, and students who would be used to being the vocal ones.
If you're going to be the best, you have to train. You have to train hard. And I think the students are very excited about being here in the heart of Shoreditch, which is kind of the home now of London's creative industries.
This is really like the real life situation.
Seeing how the workspace works, realising that people do work 10 till 6, they do work through their lunch hours. I've worked with Mother before when I was running Airside, and I've always thought that they were probably the most creative ad agency out there. So I spoke to my friend Liam Faye Fright, and I said to him, would you be interested in hosting this workshop with a view to holding the closing event in your event space downstairs? And he said, yeah, sounds great. They've actually gone out on a limb to accommodate us.
First day when they came in, everybody was sort of looking around like marmots, wondering why the hell there was all these young people in the building.
I remember having that same sort of energy where it's just like, there's so much out there, there's so much to learn, how do I get hold of it? I just want to sort of get stuck into it.
People who are unblemished perhaps by the cynical old advertising world come into the building and express their kind of enthusiasm for it, revved everybody up and reminded them why they were here.
I look at these people and I want to tell them, you have the best job, like I want to be you, like how do I become you?
First day, I think, is a lot of, hang on a second, what's this?
I'm absolutely crapping myself. Oh my God, what's going to go on here?
Who's this guy? Why is he making us do these stupid exercises? What's that stupid bell?
Every time the bell rang, you had to stop, and that's it. I could have stayed 3 days with the first exercise, and it took us 2 minutes.
We've got somewhere to go here, so shut up. Bing! Well, I don't want to shut up. Now, the only way to get away with it is having these feedback sessions where they can say whatever they want, whenever they want. And that's absolutely crucial. They feel heard at every step along the way.
Think of this as something where you can really make a difference.
One of the theories behind the workshop is that you have to blend the two forces of creative energy. One is structural. You need a rigid structure. You need a rigid timetable. You need a clear plan. And then the other half is generative. You need the freedom to explore and to allow new ideas to emerge. And you put those two together and that's where you get powerful creativity. On day 2 and 3, we got a lot of people saying, why aren't we just working? Why are you making us do all this stuff Why don't you just let us get on with the creative stuff itself, the important stuff?
Half of the workshop was literally creative exercises that we've done and like moving from one group to another. And
I'm asking them to do all sorts of different stuff that seems initially pointless.
Yes.
and we would start a story, and then everyone would go on, and it went to like crazy stories about aliens on Mars who were skating, and I don't know.
Then we'll get hyenas to tickle our hair. That'll be brilliant. Wow.
A game, really? And then you do it, and then you realize like just it's done, and you're like, oh my god, that was so important, so interesting, you know? It helped so much. Fred's techniques of seducing us into the art of bring up ideas.
Here's an idea, and here's where else we could take that idea, and here's where else we could take that idea, and then you get an escalation of creativity.
Fantastic. Martian sign language.
Yes,
You have to say whatever comes to mind. You shouldn't be afraid of people laughing at your idea or anything.
And I felt them going, I'm not sure if I want to go over this hurdle here. We just set up the structure, and then the cards fall as they may. So I'm allowing this kind of blue sky environment, terrible phrase, but it is true. You know, I'm allowing things to fall from the sky. I'm trusting the process entirely.
It's a really good exercise, not necessarily to generate ideas, but to kind of get into the generating idea mood.
The point is to allow them to kind of relax and allow a new process to hold them as they become creative in this new way.
I used to be a yes but person. It's funny how 2 words can change your way of thinking.
I got them to brainstorm as many ideas as they could, firstly one by one and then just kind of organically. It's an important skill to work with people who you don't know and you don't necessarily even like.
Trying to get into teams with those people that we don't know at all, which is very different from what you usually have at university, you know?
But you have to respect them. And you have to understand how you can communicate with them and they can communicate with you.
But then this is like unsafe because it's like kind of taking that negative energy, like emphasizing it.
which one?
I did see people who were struggling with working with other people and sharing their ideas and accepting others' ideas.
But I don't really understand the TV show, what it's going to be, like what it could be.
People experimenting in the kitchen and like they see something on TV like around the dinner table and they want to experiment. It makes people mix trends.
I mean, it's interesting, but I think I've seen that 1,000 times.
It's quite challenging to let go of that control and to start to trust the people around you.
It's a great project. If you want to apply it for this, but later. Some people who I could see that we were chatting and were telling me they weren't very happy about the situation of the group and everything. So
Working with students who are unknown to each other means that one has to reassess the skills and one's position within a group.
For me, everything is a campaign. Anything that we're talking about is like, well, advertising, how do you make a campaign out of this, da, da, da. But I realized people from interactive design, for example, there's this girl next to me, and she's thinking about space and about design, something like touch and feel. So that makes no sense to me. But the same thing when I mention a campaign, she's like, what do you mean campaign? Like, you know, I think that's been really hard.
And that was the point when I was holding my breath and going, oh my God, have I put the bar too high? Am I asking too much from them? Is this all going to end in tears? Are they going to refuse to collaborate? It's an emotional minefield, to be honest. And that's part of the reason why I have to put so much structure around it, because if I asked them what they wanted to do, it would be sit in the corner with my sketchbook and do my thing, or sit in the corner with my laptop and program a website. That's their inclination. So I have to build these structures that kind of push them into this collaborative space. First with very low stakes, but then slowly building it up and getting them to see the power that is there, pushing through all these barriers. And then I got each group to work up those ideas and develop them.
The crafting of the idea is often where the idea really starts to live.
We all understood that we had to collaborate. If we didn't collaborate, nothing good was going to come out of it.
We're working on this idea, which is like for one day you're not allowed to use anything for its original purpose. This is a gun. We're going to put like a coffee pot on it, something like that.
Maybe a guitar.
That's a good idea, yeah.
So we just see stuff that we like and cut them up and then make like a collage.
We had some initial ideas and we did mood boards, and the directions we took from them just spiraled out of control almost, because there were so many ideas came from them.
I remember very much what I was like as a student, you know, almost having a fear to put pen to paper, because then basically you'd break the spell, and what was this great sort of thing you'd imagined might sort of not be quite as good as you thought. I think working as part of a team really helps that, because, you know, as an individual it becomes even more of a pressure.
It was really interesting to have groups that came together and kind of formulated in a very organic way, composed of people from completely different fields.
In the course of the last week on this workshop, they've all had different ideas that have fed into a massive great big pot and mixed up and come out again.
As a good, they've got a really strong core theme, which is commuter boredom basically, and how to change that. And we've got this Google Doodle idea, so every time you go on the Chatspot network, something different will happen, just little things.
They still all think they're their ideas. I'm trying my best. But really, when they look back on it, I'm hoping they'll see that all of the ideas were everybody's ideas. And that's how it works in the real world. That's how it works, how creativity works. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Definitely now we've got to know each other a little bit better. We know where everyone's coming from a little bit. The groups have become a lot more productive.
First day I say, this is like Olympic training. You know, you're going to be pushing your limits. You're going to be really testing your skills.
But I think what's going to work is if you...
And one of the things we do in here is make them come up with project ideas and then test them.
Can I make a little prototype?
See if they work. Don't just sit there and talk and talk and talk and try and dig deeper and make them work. You have to physically test them.
And see if they actually have enough currency, enough spark that a group of people, i.e. them, their own focus group is them, will respond to it positively, will actually say, yes, if that project happens, I'd actually commit to it in some way.
So which of these projects would you invest your time into? And we're going to do this in a voting way.
And we got to choose basically which projects we wanted to work on.
There's a really rigorous selection process we're going through right now, just boiling things down to see what's feasible and what isn't.
Some ideas might be really good, but might not be realistic, might not be achievable.
Okay. So do you think it's neither or?
Those big ideas that sometimes just you realise they're not possible to make.
You could find a project that you would be able to embrace and make happen with your skills.
I think it's always a bit of a scary / worrying thought that your idea hasn't came to its full, bloom.
I think between you, do you feel you have the resources, given what else you're committing to in this room, to deliver this project? Okay.
You know what you got wants you to do, and then you have to know what's practical, what you can actually do, and that's the interesting part, I think.
About the other 6 projects is that they're great projects, but there isn't the will to make those guys happen.
This is a different pace for me, and it's kind of scary, terrifying, but more fun because it's such a quick process.
They are choosing the ideas, and yeah, I'm being as gentle as I can, but if the group doesn't like the ideas, then they don't happen, and that's fair enough.
So if you're happy, maybe we establish these 3 tables as the home for people.
It's a little bit tense because obviously, even though we've talked about not taking it personally, it is a little bit personal.
It's very hard not to take it personally, and there's a slide. I've got a key slide is don't take it personally. It's just an idea. You'll have another idea.
You've got to learn to let go, and it's helping us do that. It's teaching us that no idea is concrete until you've actually definitely made it.
If you walk in, it does look like a studio. If you just walk in.
You throw a bunch of talented people with different skills into a space and get them to collaborate well, and that's when the magic happens.
It makes me think that this is what I really want to be in.
The groups have changed so much that these ideas came through this process.
We intend to develop and re-immerse young adults into discovering lost skills.
The Sex Lift started off with us wanting to play sexual music in an elevator.
Initially, we were looking at how to bring greenery to commuters.
The idea of wanting to promote self-sustainability to people.
Those projects were produced by all 20 of them, really, the ideas. But now we've got core briefs being worked on by a 2, a 4, a 6 and an 8.
When Mother come in, it's going to be really a real eye-opener into how it works here, and some of the ideas, it'll be so interesting to see what ideas they like.
I'd like this to happen. I think we're all going to benefit from seeing these.
When you see someone who's actually employed in a job that you want, bothering to tell you how you should change your project to make it succeed in the real world. I think that's gold.
He thinks about it, he goes to his workplace and who knows what he started off, what trade.
So you go into your commute 9 to 5 and you rarely see any plants or flowers, you're in the tube.
But they just wouldn't let them get a word in edgewise.
You gave people some, let's say, some tools to do that as part of this, unexpected.
We did kind of start heading towards.
And I hadn't quite realised how difficult it was for them to take feedback.
Actually talk about why is sex so awkward to talk about. You have to do more than just play sexy music, I think, to get people talking about sex.
When you're in a professional creative environment, you have to be a really effective communicator and be able to express your idea really coherently.
This is my sexual preferences.
It is competitive, but what that means in the best circumstances is that everybody raises each other's game, and you have to be a very good talker, but you also have to be a very good listener.
And it's hard to be in a group where everybody wants to be the voice.
In this project, it seems like they had to come up against other people who were just as articulate and just as keen to get their ideas out into the open and heard.
For a target audience, we thought about people from 18 to 30, which is people that start creating their own habits and being more independent and actually really benefit from this.
Yeah. And learning to be autonomous as well, so it's really getting to their head.
So you change a little bit something in their minds to be more creative. So this is our display.
You need a healthy balance of good idea and excellent presentation, I think.
Way, so that to show them the potential. The potential, exactly. For example, a trolley.
We wanted to do our best, and we all wanted to show off, sort of.
I told them, I said, I think you didn't listen. I think you wasted, I think you threw away that gold. It made me a bit sad. So the next day we went through some listening exercises.
Everyone has something to say and everyone not necessarily agrees with what the other person says.
There's so many opinions and it's been very difficult today, but I do think that we have hit the bottom and now the only way is up.
Okay.
We met up over the weekend. I think we really settled everything.
Got lots of social media and kind of like live blogging, which I think really added momentum to it and really helped the students kind of see that we were really passionate about the stuff they were doing and we wanted to put it out into the world as well as they should want to put it out into the world.
Personally, one of my big learnings was to delegate, which to me is the most important part of collaboration. I think it's hard when it comes to creative people, and that was key to the workshop. It was amazing to see, to really trust somebody.
Giving trust to people and taking trust and just letting loose and understanding that everyone else in the room is really capable as well as me, and everyone can just, if someone says they're going to do something, you don't need to sit next to them and make sure they're doing it. They just go along and do it and come back in half an hour and it's what they've done is amazing.
In your classroom, everybody's the same. Everybody thinks very alike, so it's very easy to work that way.
We're quite stressed out about getting everything done on time, but it's definitely much better than it was last week.
There were times where one person wasn't happy and everyone else was happy, and sometimes in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, is that really that one person's opinion, is that really that important? If everyone else is happy, you'd think like the majority must be right, but every time we listened to them, heard what they said, 9 times out of 10 it was really justified reason, and where our project went it was good because of their problems or their issues that they had with it.
That's a dodgy ground.
I think they're getting better at hearing feedback.
I love that you're talking about tackling it with humour. That's a very mother way of approaching something. I felt like this was a really big thing you could go and attack government with.
It was really nice to see how they kind of progressed and grew to learn how to work with other people, a lot of listening skills, and you could kind of see how they were getting better at it.
After a bit of discussion with some of the professionals at Mother, we decided to broaden our reach and move on. So eventually we came to just helping and guiding people to green spaces. This is where our app came in, our green app.
And today, for example, we had 3 people, and it was very interesting because in between them, they contradicted each other.
What's amazing about this is there's just something in the idea of kind of bringing, kind of new light, new perspective on what the Scouts might mean. The idea of an organisation to bring back this sense of adventure that you had with the Scouts.
I would have just liked to be clear because I was,
confused with different references and stuff, but just clear about who you're going for.
Would you want to learn how to build the canoe and
No,
start a fire?
do you want to go on the canoe trip?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different.
Depends what you're doing, yeah.
Slightly different thing, because to me,
But it's great because they really embraced it and they say like, sorry mate, I don't agree with you, I think that's rubbish, but I think that's awesome because it gives you choices.
It looks like all the groups will be producing something in the way of moving image. So we're going to screen their films basically to the mother audience and then some students and staff coming along as well. In the event space we'll have the print work and the more kind of object-based work and any kind of immersive stuff or interactive stuff that they've produced. You only really understand the mindset that's required in the workplace by being in the workplace and understanding what it's like to deliver a professional project with a bunch of people you don't necessarily know very well to a very tight schedule.
Azeti had to rush off to find some plants to give away because we're doing a little giveaway. Take me to greenery plants. It was quite intense.
Oh, I see. So you're going to put a blank in there?
That makes sense.
Extremely tired, barely sleeping or not sleeping at all. Coming back this morning, dead. I didn't sleep the night before at all. I had to finish some animations and stuff.
I would sit here and eat breakfast.
Bring a trolley with a cab and big mess, raining in the morning. You felt like it was going nowhere, it was never going to happen.
Nobody's here.
They're invited at 5:45.
That's the moment of kind of collapse and here it all is. It's a celebration as well, really.
Enjoy it, have fun, and thank you for working so hard. I really, really take my hat to you. You really have gone for it.
Good luck everyone.
My new employer, UAL, graciously agreed to let me try an educational experiment.
We were really nervous, obviously, presenting in front of Mother. All the adrenaline and all the positive energy kind of brought the whole thing together.
I can imagine it was very intimidating. They had this massive screen behind them and then they were stood in front of it.
Let's check out manual.
People don't value everyday objects. On average, each person in the UK throws away their own body weight in rubbish 8 times a year. They don't realize that some of these things can be used for something other than their original purpose. So, how do we encourage people to see and take advantage of the creative potential of these objects? By creating Manual, a platform where people can get inspired and explore the possibilities of handcrafting. This is how it works. From the home screen of our website, you can easily navigate through the different sections, allowing you to find inspiration, explore the gallery, get started with one of our many tutorials, or sign up to our pop-up workshops. In order to enhance user experience, we have added difficulty ranking and gamification techniques to the tutorials. Once you have built your whatever, Manual gives you the possibility to exchange your creations. While Diego might benefit from the many tutorials designed to help him come up with his own creations, the exchange feature might allow Lisa to be more entrepreneurial with the things she creates. To help you get the resources you need, Manual provides you with a map on which users have geotagged objects on the street. For example, if Gloria spots an abandoned lamp in her neighborhood, she can take a picture and upload it to the Manual website. All the other users will then be notified about the lamp by an alert on their device. To introduce people to this community, we have created a campaign showing the multiple benefits and creative potential of everyday objects. To target people at the point of purchase, participating brands will place an image on their product labels showing what can be made out of the packaging. Our guerrilla advertising will display a series of already transformed objects which aim to inspire individuals.
The recycling one. The recycling one. That was really clever. I thought that was really, really slick as well. Graphic design on it was amazing.
When we presented to Mother, they were really excited about the whole labels idea. They thought it was like, it should be like a public service. They were really happy with it. They said we should either put it on Kickstarter and go to the government.
That one looked real. It looked like it had been done by professionals.
Next up, say sex.
Some people like to use a small amount of water-based lubricant on the tip of the penis, for a little bit of extra sensation and comfort. They can be used for vaginal or anal sex, and there are even flavoured varieties available for oral sex. So when you're ready to put on your condom, just make sure that the penis is hard and direct, and that there hasn't been any genital contact before you put the condom on. Reason for this is that bacterial infections like chlamydia can easily be transmitted through genital touching and rubbing prior to the application of the condom. If you're sexually active, condoms are the most effective method of protecting against sexually transmitted infections and unwanted pregnancy. So it's probably worth trying out a few different brands and finding out which ones are comfortable for you and which ones suit you.
Say sex.
Sex.
It was jolly, like it was kind of nice and fun.
Say sex.
I think we found a really honest truth in that, the fact that people are just not comfortable talking about sex.
It's the Core Scouts.
The Core Scouts is an orientated programme in partnership with community organisations which intends to develop and re-immerse young adults into discovering lost skills, creating an immersive environment which captures the essence of Scouting. It aims to place members in real-life scenarios where their new skills can be applied appropriately, creating a sense of adventure and self-reliance.
The Scout Girls, I think, was a real case of two art directors and no copywriter, and they've both done an amazing job on the look and feel of the whole thing.
Was that a K in sign language?
And almost it would have been better if no one had said anything and there'd been no film. It was just like, look how good this thing is. It looks amazing.
Is a project called Greeners.
London is officially the greenest city in Europe. 40% is made up of publicly accessible green space. That's 173 square kilometres. And the government is investing more and more in green spaces for our city.
But do you know where the nearest greenery is to you? Where would you go on a sunny lunch break, or for a weekend barbecue, or for just a breather from a hectic day at work? So we've come up with the Greener app, the hassle-free way to get you to greenery. Open the app and you'll see all the green spaces nearest you. With hundreds of park profiles, we'll get you the greenery you need. Take the greener route.
The Greener team, for me, did the best job. I just felt like they got it. They got how to present something quickly. I really felt like they had taken on board all of the things that we'd spoken about. And it was very slick. I mean, honestly, if some of the junior people here had made that, we'd be delighted and we'd send it out and it would go to client and we'd charge a load of money for it. So they did a great job.
I was engaged afterwards by one of the guys, like, right, we want to make it, and that's what I really liked, was, okay, you've seen it, now how do we get it done? Can you help us? And it was just that energy, they obviously had, there was a lot of energy coming out of that and momentum.
I was really, really impressed. I think they did a great job. And there was several of them who I think, we would happily employ.
It's looking good. You're doing good, aren't you? You're doing a great job.
A sense of pride and satisfaction at the launch of the project at Mother really was testament to how a really good project is not easy.
It was very good for me to see how a big idea is born. That was very interesting, and see how to get there.
Each of the projects that come from us, some of them you worked on, like physically worked on, some of them you worked on idea-wise.
It was a taste of what it is really like to have to present to your peers and your clients.
The last night presenting to Mother, I felt it was really short. I felt we had to put all that work into something, and suddenly after a very short period of time it was gone.
This was quite a groundbreaking project for UAL and Mother, and having such a strong body of young people come in was a really great way for us to talent spot. So it is worthwhile for UAL and other creative businesses across the country to be doing similar projects.
Fred's passion and energy in wishing to support students and to trial things, actually, to take risks with them, to see what might be possible, is something that students respond to.
Being able to work with people from advertising, from from communication, MA, BAs, different universities as well.
And from our point of view, it allows us to involve our students in projects that actually we couldn't do within a college assessed environment.
Go and try everything. Any project. Some of them will crash and burn, some of them will be brilliant, but just fly a lot of missions.
I'm passionate about empowering these kids to go out into the world and not just get exploited, not just have endless free internships till they get old and grey, but are actually in a position where they can say, yes, I'd like to work for you, and here's the proof that I can do that.
You're already getting fans and followers and things already happening for all the ideas.
Here's evidence that I'm a self-starter, that I have initiative, that I can collaborate well, I can work well in a team. And if you don't employ me, I'm working on this other exciting project, by the way. Oh, and if you don't employ me, if you're thinking about employing me, I've got another offer over there, and I'm not going to hang around waiting for you.
I'd love to just lock the door and leave you in here and just keep giving you briefs.
It's just a much better bargaining place to be, and young people need that empowerment.
My creative process has completely changed.
We collaborate very good, so we keep meeting now afterwards, all of the groups.
This, for me, has been one of the greatest career experiences I've done.
It's definitely a life-changing workshop.
Just do this, and it will be amazing, I assure you.
Well, if you don't want to do it, just pass on my details and I'll do it again.